Welcome to the basement.
Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome to the basement. I'm Jose.
I'm Nolo. What up?
What's going on out there, guys?
So, good news. We got our stuff up there,
Finally.
up in the cloud, in the world, and in the internet.
So it's our website is up,
Website's up, thebasement.com, thebasementny.com.
and through the website you could get in contact with our episodes,
Yep.
or you could watch our episodes or listen to our episodes. Podcast is up. We're on iTunes.
We're on iTunes.
For an Android guy, I'm like, I'm on Apple. I feel like I somewhat betrayed the world.
I'm gonna do something.
You know what's crazy? I was telling you this before, but the app that I use on my Android looks way better than it looks like.
I know, I saw.
We're
It takes the featured image and it put it up on the...
Right next to the...
Yeah. On Apple, it just shows the logo. That's all it shows. Why don't they do that?
I don't know. Were you able to figure out that backdrop image?
No, I haven't even tried.
Yeah, so fine-tuning things. We have all 10 episodes up. The last 3 are also video files that you could see us on YouTube.
Yep, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Reddit, for those that want to go on Reddit. You could talk to us and leave comments on all those platforms. You can see our bios. You can see our faces. You can see what we look like. I suggest you don't look at our faces.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we just stick to podcasts and forget about the whole cam thing.
Because every time I listen to a podcast and I look at the person's face, I'm like, he does not look like that.
I know. It's almost like you want your imagination to picture this person, in your own head.
But alas, we're up there.
Whatever your preference is, video or audio, we're actually officially running like we should have been a year ago.
Yeah. Well, now we're on full steam now. Before it was just like, let's do it. Now it's like,
yeah, we're putting in days, right?
Now we're gonna go for it. Yeah.
Now we're putting in days. Yeah. So I was on Facebook, and I don't know. Check this whole thing out right here.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Yes.
So basically, a friend on Facebook had posted this article speaking about the Second Amendment rights.
This was in America?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But the article, and I'll put it up on the link, where you could actually see the image of this Kenyan. I think this is Kenya. This Kenyan man has his head basically on the curb or whatever, and this riot police officer is about to slam his head.
Oh yeah, I saw this image.
And the person who posted it basically wrote, this is why we have the Second Amendment rights. First off,
I get it.
I'm not sure what's going on in this situation, but in the article, the Kenyan man, I believe it's Kenyan man, he basically, when he read the article, he was home. The article had said that he had died in the hospital.
And he was like, "Wait a minute,
I'm not dead.
Am I dead?
Is this simulation theory?" No. So he basically, he read the article. He spoke on it. He's not dead. He said he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, so, he had nothing to do with the riot?
He had nothing to do with the riot.
Oh, that's horrible. Jesus.
So yeah. So whether that's true or not, the comment that's made, what happened?
Forget it.
When you make faces like that, when you make faces like that, they're gonna wonder.
I just realized I didn't put glasses on my avatar and read it.
Don't you have glasses?
Yeah, I didn't put it on the avatar though. I gotta fix it.
Why do you get the Puerto Rican flag and I get the Star Trek logo?
Because of your thing, you said Star Trek fan, so I was like, I'm gonna put up a Star Trek.
All right.
I didn't put that.
That's on Reddit. So these two individuals, right, are going at it, accusing one of saying that that has nothing to do with the Second Amendment rights.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Um,
Is he saying it has nothing to do with Second Amendment rights because it's not America?
well, he's saying that the person that's posting it, the person that's replying is stating that you're just instilling fear.
Okay? None of them are the Kenyan men.
No, we're talking about the people who are posting
Okay.
and
Okay.
who
I just
reply.
want to make sure
This
that
argument that's happening on Facebook in regards to this situation and
you got to
its
put the
relation
picture.
to yeah,
Okay.
in relations to the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's not America, right?
Yeah. And we all
Um,
know if you leave America, you're in greater danger of anything bad happening to you.
you're in greater danger
Oh yeah,
in America.
in America. I don't care what country you go to. To me, think of a safer country than America.
There is no safer country.
Canada?
Canada.
Maybe Canada.
Yeah, but they're almost. I'm sorry to say this, but they're almost to me like I don't know, zombified or something. I don't even know how to
Yeah, yeah, I
explain
know
it.
what you're saying. Like they're all like cogs on a machine. They're just
Yeah, it's just turning, and
everybody do
everyone's
this.
okay with it, and you
Yeah.
know.
You saw with the God, what's his name? Jordan Peterson and a lot of guys from Canada. David Crowder, Steven Crowder comes from Canada too. Anyway, they left. I think Jordan Peterson's still there because Canada has this thing where you can't say certain words, otherwise you get arrested.
Yeah.
So
Can't you also get arrested like, if you call, or is that somewhere else? If you call, like, if I identify as a woman and you call me a man, you could be arrested for
that's in
that?
Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
In New York, you're fine unless you own a business, then they can sue you.
It's always about that.
It's always about money, baby.
It's always about that.
'Cause trust me, I'll go into a place just like a woman, just like I sue somebody.
Bald woman, or would you put a wig?
Excuse me, are you?
Am I gonna get sued?
Are you identifying me as a bald person? I identify as a hairy person,
Oh,
as
okay.
a Afrocentric. So
Why you gotta involve the afros in here?
I'm just trying to think of the biggest hair.
I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. So I was online. I was actually on Netflix.
Wait. So you're telling me about the gun thing, Second Amendment?
So, all right. So in the argument, I tend to agree with the person that's posting. He's trying to make a connection that we shouldn't have to fear the government, the law enforcement, if we're organizing and we're trying to get a message out.
Yeah.
Now, they say riot police. Were they rioting? Was there violence? Was the violence only one way? Was it the riot? Did it become a violent situation? There's more to be told in the story, but I agree with the person making the post that we have a Second Amendment, and there are reasons why, and yeah, it is to defend ourselves against, a government that wants to control us.
Tyranny.
Tyranny, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
And both of these, what's interesting is that both of these individuals are Christian. They're both Latin. Um, one is active, or was serving in the military, in one of the branches. So I don't want to throw names out there, you know. But I said to myself, it's interesting that they're on opposite ends towards, this subject.
I think my opinion is it's a good example of why we have Second Amendment because in a situation, let's say that the cops are over policing, in that case, the people should stand up and be like, no, we're not going to harm them. We're not going to be taken over by a military. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh God! So when the military takes over the country, I forget what that's called. Damn it. Anyway, the people have Second Amendment rights, so that way that doesn't happen. Because
Martial law.
Martial law, yeah.
Yeah.
So because America was run by government, the government is run by the people. The people vote them in, the people vote them out. You agree with us, we'll vote you in. You disagree with us, we'll vote you out. This is our choices. The military's not like that. The military can step in and take over. I think that's what happened in Germany. I think.
The coup?
Yeah,
Was
it
it
was
a
a coup.
coup?
Yeah. So like I think if I remember correctly, I think.
That was wild. Was it the trucks? Am I confusing that with that truck that ran over people? I am good. Sorry.
So basically, a government, somebody that's high in government, get some sort of position where they're able to run the military, and they basically take the military and use them to take over the rest of the government. You know, if we have our weapons, we could defend. Now, are we gonna with an AR-15? Can you hold off a military? I highly doubt it. But you're not gonna go out with your hands up. You're gonna go out in a fight. You know, you'll be able to hold at least a chunk of land, and you say, everybody come here. We'll defend. This is our stand. You know, if you don't have weapons, you ain't doing that. You know, you're just gonna lay on the floor and get your head stomped in. You know, there's nothing you can do. Where the fear comes in, I think, is if the government is doing what they're supposed to do, and the people are acting crazy, and the government's like, let's send the military to calm this down, but then the people will have weapons, so they fight back. So in this scenario, the people are wrong, but they have their rights to have weapons, so they can fight back. This is where the conundrum is. This is why I think the people on the left more look at the world, saying, you know, we can't let crazy people have weapons, because what if they fight back and take over? You know, when people on the more on the right would say, yeah, but I'm the people. I want to be able to have my weapon. You know, so I think that's where this whole gun debate ever since this last shooting has been so many people giving their opinions and stuff, and there's a lot to say about it, because you know, with the whole gun debate, you know,
yeah,
especially with that shooting in the school, and then apparently another shooting happened
in
Maryland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot the name of the school where the officer
shot the kid. Right? Is that what
right
happened?
so I think they're still investigating, but apparently they're trying to determine if in fact it was a bullet that from this
Officers.
school officer. He was a school resource officer. He was a resource officer. Um, and then they say, well, what about that teacher that was giving a gun demonstration and the weapon went off? So there's a lot of arguments on whether or not.
Well, there's solutions too, because okay, just because a teacher's a teacher and that happened doesn't mean that now all teachers can have guns. To me, I'm like, that can happen to any person that has a gun.
Yeah,
Accidents happen.
That's called being human.
But in saying that, I think if you're going to be allowed to carry a weapon in school, you should be in a higher trained. You should have a higher bar of training. Just like you could drive a car in New York City, but if you want to drive a person in the back of your car, you need a higher standard. You need a TLC license. You know, same thing with trucks. You could drive a church van, what you call 50-passenger van, with a regular license. But if you want to drive a semi truck, you need a higher training. And I think that's just all it comes down to. I think everybody should have their normal license, but if you want to carry one in a school
and serve and have that weapon in to serve the people,
yeah,
then you should be required to do certain hours, certain certificates to meet.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of using, let's say we have a line bar, instead of moving the bar, a section of the bar to the left, meaning less people have guns and only this particular people have guns, like you take away guns for the majority and just have a select few to have guns. I want to move it more towards the right, where anybody can have a gun, but if you want to work in a certain capacity, then you have to have a specialized training.
Yeah.
You know?
And that doesn't guarantee that accidents won't happen.
Exactly. Just like cars.
I mean,
we're not going to ban cars.
Accidents happens all the time in every area, every branch, everywhere, because we're human,
exactly.
Right? And the thing about that is there are solutions, and I feel like we're too busy being emotional about the situation rather than saying, okay, let's try this.
And then in the conversation, instead of everybody staying level-headed and taking in points and responding and say, what about this? What about this scenario? People just get emotional right away. What about the kids? The kids died. And it's like, okay, all right, we understand that. Now what? But that's not, literally it just stays right there. It stays at the kids. I think, personally, what they should do is install automatic guns in the school. So if a kid pulls out a gun, exactly. And that's it. We're good.
Those are the best sound effects you can get on this show.
We don't have to worry about anybody having a gun. They're just shooting it, Anybody pull out a gun? Done.
Did you see? I was watching the news. Our school has like $400,000 security system with a surveillance room, cameras, even
Motion detectors.
smoke grenades,
What?
like as fire sprinklers. Um, and then some rooms have like these it was initially used for hurricanes, earthquakes,
Like a
it's,
safe
it's like
room?
yeah, it's a safe room, but it's within the classroom, and people go in there, and they did a testing with AR-15s, and the two reporters were actually inside the thing while they were getting bombarded by like
Yeah.
3 or 4 of these weapons, and they were safe. First of all, I would have been grabbing myself because the thing looks like it's made out of like aluminum foil, right? And it looks really cheap and like and I would be like, no, let's just put a dummy and see if the dummy got shot. No,
Yeah,
I'm not
word.
volunteering to go in this thing. So, but the thing is, the schools don't have a budget of $400,000 for
Yeah.
this, type of technology. And then there was a student that actually created that door bar that you slide in, and I'll put the images up so
Oh, you
people
can't
know
open the door.
you can't open the door. Um, I'm like, there are so many different solutions that we just need to implement.
Yeah, and of course, in a different situation, different schools, different parts of the country, different solutions are going to be better. So, for instance, the one that you're saying with the hurricane thing, in a part of the country where there are hurricanes, this makes sense because you need
You're
them anyway.
doubling up, yeah.
You're doubling up, yeah. Um, and I was watching one about, I think it was this morning I saw it, where there was a school that they allow teachers to carry weapons because the way they view it is they're in such a rural area that the police station literally 20, 30 minutes away. So if they call the cops, it's going to take them about half an hour to get there. So to them, they're like, we're in that amount of time, somebody could literally kill everybody. So we're better off arming the teachers. So that's what they do. Then there was another one. I'll send you the video about this principal that teaches the kids how to fight back. So if somebody walks in the room with a gun, they're trained to jump on the guy, the students, how to disarm. So for gym, instead of basketball, baseball, whatever, they have training, weapons training.
So on Twitter, I finally was able to put up a poll. So I put like two or three polls that you could actually check out on Twitter.
What's the Twitter handle? You know?
It's at the basement underscore NY. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Or you could just go to the website and it's on the.
Yeah, it'll link you there. Basically, there's a video that Sandy Hook promised. Sandy Hook promise. It's a video. It's pretty controversial. There's a lot of it's something that just came out. There's a lot of feedback. Did I send it to you?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Remember we showed it to me on the.
Oh, on the screen,
the
yeah.
screen, yeah. It's shocking, for sure, and I get what they're doing. What they're doing is saying, um, in this big incident that just passed, was 17 kids or something that died.
Yeah.
There was a lot of telltale signs that people just ignored. It kind of reminds me of this old time news report about this woman that was getting. I think she got beat by her husband in the street. This back in the day, and she was getting beat by her husband in the street. And instead of people, I don't remember if she was getting beat or getting stabbed, something like that. Anyway, so instead of people calling the cops, everybody just watched, right? Nobody called the cops. And then later on, the news reporters came and they found out like, what happened? Why nobody called the police? And everybody said, I didn't call the police because I thought somebody else would. And meanwhile, everybody's thinking the same thing and nobody called. They thought somebody else was going to call.
So,
and I think that's what they're trying to push with this, saying there's signs there, somebody make a call.
Okay, one of the reasons why I posted that poll on Twitter, we were just saying how there are so many different examples of things that we could start implementing and to see whether or not it works, right?
Yeah.
But one thing we can all do is report something.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the video for me. Is it disturbing? Yes, it is, and it's meant to be. Because it's a serious topic.
Yeah.
And on the commercials, you've seen a whole bunch of now more than ever, see something, say something.
Yeah, just like the subway, New York.
I've seen like 3 or 4 commercials back to back, New Jersey and New York. both advertising the same thing.
Yeah.
This is similar to that. This is saying, yes, the video is controversial. Yes, it's supposed to get you thinking. Yes, it's supposed to get you upset. It's also supposed to put you in the realization that you have the ability to react,
Yeah.
to say something. Now, others that are listening to this will be like, well, the FBI screwed up on the last shooting. There was no follow through. Well, that's up to us to hold them accountable
Yeah.
to that.
See, but that's what I'm talking about with the conversation, the emotional aspect of it. The FBI did mess up, and they should be held accountable for that.
If
But that's not where the conversation ends. There's more. We could also do something.
Yeah, we should hold those individuals accountable. Whoever dropped the ball should be suspended, should be reprimanded.
Retraining, everything. Yeah.
Everything.
He should be used as an example.
And all we're
do
doing is
better
complaining
training.
about it and not actually charging, just like we would be charged as the people, not charging those that we place in power with their actions.
Yeah.
And or their lack thereof in this case. So, check out the poll, weigh in, let us know what you think. Again, the whole purpose of this, I was thinking about who we are, what doing the whole website and everything. And I think on Reddit, you put the welcome message.
Yeah.
And I was reading that, and that's pretty much, if you read that, that's who we are. We're just trying to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Every voice matters, but if we're not doing anything about it, then there's no point in talking about it.
And we love Star Trek and sci-fi and all that crap.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to go into that. But, we want to talk about what's really going on in this world,
Things that affect you and I, our children. I mean, we have kids, that are going to take the helm, so to speak, when they become adults.
Yeah.
And if we're having such a hard time talking to each other across the aisle, what are we teaching our kids? How hard would it be for them to do the same thing if we're not showing them by example?
Yeah. And that aisle, it's so, I see it all the time, especially like I said, we live in New York. Everything's divided politically in New York City. And you have your liberal, upscale New Yorker, money and all this. And then you have it almost feels like they try to make us look like, try to make people look like they're racist or homophobic. It almost like the other, they're hicks, all this. Like they look at people that even lean a little bit towards the right, they're automatically the bad people. And nobody ever wants to talk about situations across aisles. They just want to say, this is what my side thinks, so this is what I'm going to think. You know, Instead of stopping for a second, having the conversation about whatever issue it is, and then say, you know what, I think that side might be right on this issue, and it's okay if I vote for that, somebody that's not in my party because of this one issue. And let me give an example, because the example I give in one of the Lost Ether episodes, we had a conversation about the Democratic Party platform. They're very strict on. They call it a woman's right to choose. It's just a frosting on crap, to me. You know what I'm saying? You got crap. You take a crap and you put vanilla frosting on it. It's still crap. You know what I'm saying?
But it's sweeter crap.
So when they say woman's right to choose, in my head I'm like, you're just talking about abortion. Just say abortion. Just say what it is. Why are you saying a woman's right to choose? I'm for a woman's right to choose. I got no problem with them choosing birth control, condoms, saying no. I got no problem with that choice. You know what I'm saying? But when we talk about abortion, at that point we're not talking about a woman. We're talking about what she's carrying, what the baby is, right? So then you have people that are Christians that they're lean to the left, right? And then I'm like, to me, abortion is just an extension of murder. You know what I'm saying? Whether I agree with almost all of their stuff, meaning on the left side, whether I agree with everything, this one issue goes against my faith, and my faith is above everything. And I'm not going to vote against my faith. Regardless of where I lean, or regardless of what I think, I'm never going to go vote against my faith.
Yeah.
You know?
And faith is a big topic for us. We haven't gone into it.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
And I feel like through our guests,
yeah, we'll dive into that for sure.
We'll dive into it more, but yeah, the faith is to me the most important.
Because we're both Christians.
Yeah, and just to pause right there, completely imperfect in so many ways, but the morals and the values that I believe in, you believe in, is what keeps me centered and keeps me going, knowing full well that I'm screwing up every day.
Yeah.
You know, and but
Well,
those are the morals that I hold dear to because they, like you said in one episode, it's what makes the most sense,
yeah.
right? And that was some of that leans into an episode of the history, the greatest hoax, by the History Channel. It's on Netflix,
I think I saw like 1 or 2 episodes.
and the one that I was watching was the Piltdown Man hoax.
Oh, I heard about this with the pig head and all this,
The
right?
the pig head. It was actually an ape jaw
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the skull of a human,
I forget.
and basically this was the hoax of Darwin, Charles Darwin, on evolution.
Yeah.
So he found these skulls, he put them together, he grind the teeth so that it can match, the skull teeth can match the jaw teeth of the ape or the
They
orangutan.
said who did this?
They didn't say who did it, but they said that the person most likely and would gain the most would be Charles Darwin.
Okay.
It was proven later on with technology that this was a setup,
There was a monkey mixed with a human.
right? And this was used to um, show proof evidence that um, the evolution is true.
Yeah.
Evolution is the theory.
Oh, so they used it. They're like, hey, look at this skull, and everybody's like, oh, that's proof right there.
Well, the thing is, Darwin came out with his theory and magically found this fossil.
Very interesting.
And a lot of people don't know that Darwin made no money off of this find. But he was doing it because he loved the idea, the theory. He
doing it
loved
for the karma.
archaeology. He wanted to be part of that. Yeah, he wanted to
Doing
be
it for the
part of that.
karma.
He wanted to be part of that group, that niche. But it was proven later on that it was all a hoax.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about my education, and to me, when I was the lack thereof of education,
New York City.
I grew up, you know, being taught that this whole theory was this whole evolution theory was fact.
Facts in a stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that yet.
So
I don't. Yeah, because to me, I'm like, maybe I'm just uneducated enough in that. But if I take 15 dogs and Chihuahua, Great Dane, whatever, I could take their bones and make it look like it evolved. You know what I'm saying? Easily. Meanwhile, they were all alive, last week. You know, and my whole theory with the age of the Earth and all that is that I mean I would like to go into the stuff more detailed, so we have more
theory.
time. Yeah.
So I went to several different websites, just did some reading, I pasted some thoughts, and in this website, nas.edu, evolution, the theory or fact, the article, and I quote, states that, is what is theory? Is theory fact? And in this article, it says it's both, but that answer requires looking more deeply at the meaning of the words theory and fact. How could it be both?
What I was going to say is I've had this conversation with people before. Their comeback to that is the reason why it's a theory is because we can't simulate evolution in the lab, so we can never prove it. So to me, when they say that, I'm like, I see that because there's some things that I believe that I can't prove in a lab.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I almost feel like I'll give that to you, but at that point we have to agree to disagree.
Well, back to the words. In this article, he's suggesting, or she, I'm not sure who the author is suggesting that theory is both fact and theory. And I'm saying to myself, how could it be both?
Yeah.
And so I googled the word. I googled the word theory, and it is an uncertain belief or system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principles dependent on the thing to be explained.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gotta be put on the website. That's
Yeah.
too much to read.
That is too much to read. And fact, the definition according to Google, when Google talks back to you
Yeah.
for those Android phones, people, Fact is a thing that is indisputably, um, a thing that is indisputably in the case.
Oh, so you're saying they're contradicting each other?
Fact is fact. It's undisputable.
Yeah.
It's a That's how simple that definition is. The other one, you gotta like look at it, decipher it, Google other words that come
Yeah.
from and like phrases. One of the arguments that theorists use in this whole situation is that with with us exploring space, the age of the universe, and they do that by measuring space and the time in which matter expands and the rate it expands. They've measured that the Earth is like 13 billion years old.
Okay.
So in 2002, another article comes out that was talking about this is theguardian.com, and in this article, a survey was done and found that a startling 45% of Americans now believe in God, creation. Um,
That was 2012.
that was 2002. Okay, that 45% of Americans now believe God created life sometime past 10,000 years, despite research that has established the universe as 13 billion years old and that man and woman are descended from ape like ancestors.
It says despite the fact.
Despite the fact
Yeah.
that men and women are descended from ape like
See, but
ancestors.
this is the reason why.
And where do we get that mindset? From the the um the pit down man host.
But and also this is why I have a hard time with uh, the world, because it's basically saying whether you believe something or not. We don't have solid fact, right? We just said it right now. We just have solid fact. It's a theory. We don't have solid fact. But whatever you believe is wrong because we're right, right? And it's just like, why can't we come to a place where we're trying to figure it out? Why is it I'm right and you're wrong? Especially in a thing like this, where it's like we still have there's a long discussion to have here.
It is. And
And
my whole the reason why I mentioned this is because I grew up being shoved this word theory as fact when it came to evolution. And this article, according to the survey they did in 2002, who knows where it is now, it's suggesting that more of the homes and schools, it's basically schools, the title of the article is schools ban Darwin from class. And what I'm saying is that why not introduce both?
yeah, it's a difficult thing because also, as a Christian, I can say this: the Christian explanations of things are bad. They're not very. The Bible's not a science book. It's not a science textbook. It's not meant for that.
It's not going to
You know,
explain to you how it's done.
yeah,
It's going to explain to you why.
yeah. And then you got to read into it,
Right.
basically. The problem is, usually the loudest voices are the ones that are the most eccentric. You know, they have the most wildest thoughts of like, remember that guy? I forget when it was. I think it was remember that guy, he had a radio show and he was saying that the end of the world is like May 2nd or whatever. Remember that we had
Wow.
the fair of Fairview. They were walking with the big signs giving out papers, and it was supposed to be like in May something, whatever, right? And nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
But he was everywhere. The billboards, he was on TV, the radio, everywhere. And that's the view that people have of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, to us inside of Christianity, we look at that guy like he's a crazy person. He's obviously crazy.
Right. Like exactly.
You know? But the rest of the world doesn't see that. The rest of the world just looks at us as one group, saying those people are crazy. Look at his lead. Look at the leader. He's crazy.
Right.
You know? And the same thing goes with like evolution and stuff like that. The loudest voices, whatever. Like they say, uh, my favorite, one of my favorite ones are they saying that the devil put the dinosaur bones in the ground to trick humans. And I was like, where do you see that in the Bible? Where are you getting that from? Are you making that up and trying to tell people it's fact? Is that your theory you're trying to push as fact? You know what I'm saying? It's To me it sounds ridiculous. Like, why would we? And then people that have really good ideas, Christians that I speak to that are really level-headed, they're so not. It's not that they're quiet. It's just that they're going about their lives. They're not going to go out and speak about whatever. But the crazy voices are always the loud ones, and I feel like that's what gives Christianity a bad rap. So that's why when you hear anybody talk about Christianity, immediately they're
referring to those instances where you have these extremists.
Exactly, yeah. They're crazy. They got the horrible. They're hypocrites.
I wouldn't go as far as to say they're crazy. They're just more emotional about their opinion. Where I feel like I'm detached. I feel like my opinion is my opinion. I don't have to be so emotional about it.
Yeah.
And I also accept that my opinion can change.
Yeah.
I may learn something new.
So,
and the day I ever change that mentality is like I'm gonna turn into one of them. And I never want to do that.
no way.
I always want to learn something new. It's exciting. Like we're doing this thing, we're doing this whole show thing, and learning how to mess with the software and learning how to. It's it's exciting. We should be creatures that continuously want to learn. But when you get emotional behind anything that you're stuck on, it's a core now, it's a core value for you, and you tie your emotion to it, then yeah, it's gonna give yourself a bad name and what you're representing a bad name.
So now, with the whole evolution thing, like as far as the fossils and stuff are concerned, blah blah blah. I I don't know as much as I should know about that stuff, um, but that doesn't change the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? If if God wanted to do it that way, I got no problem with it. If that's the
Okay.
way God wanted to do it, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Do I think that's how we did it? I don't think that's how we did it. Because the Bible kind of states clearly what happened. You know, whether you believe in the 7 days or not, that's up to you. I kind of can see it happening, and so the reason why I say that is I gotta give an example because when God created Adam, how old was Adam? After God created Adam, 15 minutes after He created him, how old was Adam?
Well, okay. You're saying one thing. You're saying that the Bible doesn't explain how. It's horrible at explaining how, but now you're saying that it does.
What do you mean?
You were saying before how the Bible doesn't explain how it was done.
Yeah.
You made that comment, and now
No, no.
you're
What I'm
saying
saying
that
is
it kind
okay.
of does.
The only reason why I'm saying it like that is because people have disagreements with that original story because it's said twice. You have the 7 day story of the seventh creation is said twice differently, back to back within Genesis. So some theories will call it a 7 day thing. The other ones say, yeah, but on this side the words mean differently. You know.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, it's kind of like I said, it's not a science book. It's up to interpretation a lot of it. So like I was saying, with Adam, 15 minutes after God created Adam, how old was Adam? What do you think? How old do you think he was?
I'm gonna say he's like in his well, it could be 20s.
See, that's what I would say. He was 15 minutes old. He appears to be 20. Okay?
He's a man.
He's a man. Of course he's a man. Because why? He named all the animals. He also eventually had a child with Eve and the rib out of the whatever.
Essentially
right?
the chicken.
Yeah. Now, he was technically 15 minutes old, but he appeared to be 20. And that's the way I view the way God created the world. The world looks like it's billions of years old, but it's really not that old because God created it whenever He did. Whatever. I don't even know what it was. People say 10,000, 6,000, 100,000,
Well,
whatever.
to me, if you were outside of time, right? If you had the ability to be outside of time and the effects thereof, in whatever vessel, shape, form, human,
Yeah.
an alien, a computer chip, whatever, you were outside of time. You were still in space, but you were outside of time. Time had no bearing on you,
Yeah.
and you could do whatever. You're outside of it, so you're impervious. It's irrelevant. Um, yeah, it could look like anything. It doesn't even. It's not even a relevant thing. Why I bring this topic up is because when I was a child, I remember being interested in fossils and what science is and what they're learning and what they're discovering, especially when it came to space. I was a volunteer in one of the space star thing that they had where you go in, it's a huge balloon and whatever. Um, but I always knew that theory is not real and fact is fact. Gravity is fact,
Yeah.
right? And now I'm thinking to myself, wow, what is my son being taught? And I'm teaching him the Christian values, but I also wanted to teach him that I do feel that to me it makes sense. It's logical that God has a formula on how things were done, and I feel like scientists will eventually discover that. I don't want to label it as evolution as the method, but something similar.
Yeah.
And as we progress in our understanding of the universe and ourselves, I I feel like we're gonna get closer to understand how God did it, and in essence learn more of our Creator.
But I mean,
Because it's exciting to me, even though that article came out in 2002, that not that they're banning, but they're at least, at least it's an issue where that's explained. This is a theory. The only thing that they're missing is explaining. Well, then what's creativism, right? Is that a word?
creationism.
Creationism. There you go. Thanks.
Well, that's another. I mean, the creationism is also a theory, right?
Exactly. It's a theory as well. So let's separate the two. And also, let's also recognize that this is where we are as far as science is concerned.
Well, I think I don't understand. Because in school, they're going to be like, yeah, but the scientists came up with this theory. The creationists weren't created by scientists, they were created by religious people. We got to keep religion out of the school.
And maybe some of the religious people were like, you can't teach this. We got this.
Yeah.
We'll explain this. You don't understand.
But are you saying that the religious people should teach it in church?
I think that both should teach both.
Both should teach both.
And also in that effort, allow them to understand that they have a choice and that it's okay to switch, change your mind. It's okay to talk about it. It's something that you might find interest and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but there's so much. So, for instance, if a teacher was to do that, what do you think will happen to that teacher?
Go on.
Fired.
Automatically.
Automatic. You probably lose your license. That's what I was saying. That there's the split between the two sides.
The teacher should, to the very least, explain what is the word?
Creationism.
There you go. To the very least, explain the general sense of what that is and what is
creationism.
Yeah, what is it?
That we have a creator that created us, the
Period.
universe.
Period. Is it the Christian
It could
creator?
No, it could be Muslim.
It could be Muslim.
It could be Buddhist.
So the basic definition
Navajo.
of that word is what?
A creator.
Creator.
It could be alien.
This is what I'm saying the teacher should be able to teach.
Yeah.
Just the idea of it. And the same thing with evolution. And there's a bunch of, in theory, there's a bunch of theories, including religion. But these are your options. And this is how to explore the human mind and get them to
So you're saying
think
the
outside
teacher
the
should
box.
start from the premise of, we don't know.
We don't know, but this is what's out there.
This is the ideas.
If you want more information on this is where you could go. You want more information on this is where you could go. These are your resources.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Teacher will get fired immediately.
Of course.
Teacher will get fired immediately. Lose license, out of school, you're fired, you'll never work in this town again. That's why the teachers don't do it.
But the church could.
Church could. Not only can the church could open up schools and do it.
Yeah.
But that's another issue, because Christianity is on the decline.
We're losing numbers.
Hardcore. When I was young,
I think there will be Christians that are here, this episode, what I'm saying, and totally disagree with me. Like this guy,
yeah, of course.
he's a maniac.
But also, when I first became Christian, it was something like 11% of the population was real Christianity, quote unquote real Christianity. The rest of them were just emotional, like follow the leader type Christians. I go to church on Sunday. I think it's gotta be less than that now. It was something like 11% of Christians were, Bible believing, Bible following Christians. Now it gotta be less than that. Or maybe it's the same. We're just losing the fluff that was on top, the emotional fluff that was covering. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that emotional fluff will
seat fillers.
That emotional fluff will always be there.
Yeah.
In every category.
We gotta go into this too.
So yeah, this is basically, we're talking about everything. I mean, share your thoughts. We're actually now out there in a forum where we could communicate, and you guys can let us know what you think. That's it.
That's the basement.
Later.
Peace.